let's get into it. As always, just want to go over my pre-market game plan going into tomorrow, and then I'll do my best to make a session recap of today, just going over today's session on each individual name. Like I've been saying, we've been getting a lot of foot traffic in here. It's pretty cool. People emailing me their trades that they've taken on the intraday based off these pre-market game plans. Today, I had about, I think, 12 people email me the pullback long that they took off of AMD today. So that's really cool to see people cashing out on these. So please don't forget to like, subscribe. And like I always say, if there's a stock on here that you do not see and that you trade or you want to trade or you want me to break down, just please leave it in the comments, and I'll do my best to just chart it up, analyze it, and include it on these videos. So going into it, I highly recommend going to watch that live trading session today. A lot of information in there. Today was a really good lesson day, I would say. A lot of textbook stuff going on. So today was a really good day, in my opinion. I highly recommend going to watch that. Now, if you watch that session before market even opens, I say, I really hope we have a pullback long type of day. The reason for that being, you can clearly see, I mean, today was a solid day. It was a bearish day, but it was a solid day. Why? Because we filled that gap. Since the start of the week, I've been saying there's a lot of thin volume and a lot of gaps around the overall market to be filled. So today was a really good day. NVDA filled this gap, but we'll get into that. Q's filled the gap, SPY, obviously. So pullback longs, it's really expected after all these gap ups and continuation. So today was a really solid day. I was hoping for that. Tomorrow, if we break under this previous day low, this is another gap fill. As you can see, it's not as big, but still another gap fill that needs to happen on the SPY. Now, going into tomorrow's session, as we know, we're not looking to short this overall market, despite the Qs. So same game plan as it's been really since Monday. If you're looking to trade this name, you're looking for a pullback long off the previous day low or a break and retest over the previous day high, targeting all-time highs. Something I want to hit on, if you're trading this line in the Qs, please understand, don't overstay your welcome and do not be greedy. You're trading 0 DTEs. So within really one candle, one or two candles, if you get a solid momentum push or even just a quick pop, that's a quick 10, 15, 20% trade on instantly. So, trading these names, we're not taking them off of higher time frame P levels because we're sitting at the top of the range. So just understand that, understand conditions, don't overstay your welcome, treat these as scalps if you take, this pullback long or the break and retest over the previous day high. Literally same thing on the Qs. Let's go here on the daily, right? Today was a solid day. We ended up filling this mini gap that we had. We still have this major gap here and this major gap here. So a lot of gaps to be filled in this market, a lot of thin volume. So if we fall under, this previous day low tomorrow, you can expect that as well. Now, kind of crazy here during the after hours. Not surprised actually. We'll get into it, but Amazon, Rocket, Apple, Rocket, a lot of these tech names, has really shot to the upside for earnings. So not a surprise here that we're pretty much back at the previous day high during the after hours. But same thing, if you're looking to trade this name, you're looking for a break and retest over the previous day high or a pullback long off this previous day low. Those are two valid long entries. If we fall under, obviously we're not looking to short this name. I break that down in today's session on why it's a low probability setup if you counter trend a trade. For an example, if we're trading on the higher time frame and we break under the previous day low and you short that name, that's a lower probability setup because you're taking a trade counter trend to the actual trend of the overall stock. So I hope that makes sense. We're not looking to short these names. I know some people, they like to play gap fills. By all means, do what works best for you. But just know we are very bullish on this market. We're not looking to short this at all. Tesla. Now, I really want to break down Tesla. It's kind of frustrating a little bit. So actually, I'll start here on the daily. Tesla looked really promising, but as we know, Tesla does its own thing. You'll see that in today's live trading session. The frustrating part is we're back in this channel. Like I said, anywhere between really 450 and 410 is a channel. That's just what it is. So fill back into this channel. What makes it a little frustrating is the week started off fairly well. I mean, you see these last 2 days were very bullish. These last 3 days were very bullish. Now, speaking of yesterday's candle, this looked really promising, right? What is this candle? That's a hammer stick candle. Bar stepped up very aggressively. This was kind of the expected move today. That's what we're all looking for. You can see here on the dot, this 466.50 was being respected very well as a key resistance level. So that was kind of the move that we were looking for today. Unfortunately, did not get that. This thing fell right back under 450. So now we're just like back, that's our daily candle of today, and now we're kind of just back in the zone. So we're pretty much hands off this name. So going into tomorrow, right, my game plan, and I'm a little cautious on this. I broke this down into today's live trading session. If we get a break and retest over this 450, I'm going to treat that as a scalp. And even then, I might not take it. I really got to read the price action and see what the overall market is doing. The reason for that being is because of this. So this entire week, we've been in this channel. This entire week, we've been in between 466 and 450. We are now in the channel. And then only twice this week, which is, all right, that's Monday, and then today, give me one sec. Only twice this week, we have fell under the previous day low, and on Tuesday, we went above the previous day high. So each day, pretty much majority of this week, we've been stuck in between the previous day high and the previous day low. We're just sitting sideways. Technically, this name is not moving higher or lower. We are bullish bias on the higher time frame, but you can clearly see here, now we're just forming a channel and we're sitting sideways. So I'm pretty much hands off this name until we get this. This is the A+ long, as we know. This is our key level here. Reason for that being is because as soon as we break over 466, there's nothing in its way to all-time highs. There's nothing in its way. So it was looking promising, at the start of the week, and then this happens. So very unfortunate. We fall back under 450. I was kind of hoping we would hold this 450, at least, holding the bottom of this range. We never did. We tried very early at the beginning of the session. You go watch that live trading session, you'll see that. Ended up taking some trades on this name today. So super solid day on Tesla. Just unfortunately, we fell back under 450. That's not really what we wanted to see. So be cautious going into tomorrow. Be very cautious. This name is aggressive. If you're trading 0 TTEs, you can get cooked very, very fast on it. So just be cautious. But if If the price action looks good and I got the market in my favor, I'm open to taking a trade over 450, but it's more so a scalp. Other than that, this is really the no trade zone, and we're just going to wait for this A plus setup. That's really what we're waiting for, is that A plus setup. So be patient. Let our trades come to us. Be very cautious on Tesla. Be very cautious tomorrow in general. It's Friday. A lot of these tech names, they're all zero TTEs. If you're not playing next week cons, they can move against you very quick. So Friday is this defensive day. Just be very conservative. That's really the game plan here. Like I said, you can clearly see here, we're just starting to sit in the channel. And then tomorrow we get back over this 450. Now that's just 5 days in a row that we've been in between 466 and 450. So NVDA. Found a key level here. I found a key level here on the 4 hour. Been hands off this name all week. There hasn't been any key levels. It's sitting at all-time highs. There's nothing here for me. Those are low probability setups. Now, found a key level here on the 4 hour, and that's one of the perks of, being patient, just letting price develop. What do you see here? Beautiful. I mean, beautiful. Give me one sec. You can clearly see support. I mean, just held on the dot each wick. Support, support. That is what you want to see. And then what do we see today? We see this 205.15 on the dot. Give me one sec. On the dot turn into resistance. That is beautiful. That's textbook. So coming into tomorrow, as we know, we are bullish bias on this name. We're not looking to short this name. The trend is your friend. We know that. So this is a very valid shot tomorrow. This targeting all-time highs. That's very valid. That's a very good RR trade. That's a valid trade. This is a key level off of 205. I'm pushing to 212. That's a very valid trade. That's a super big RR trade, to be honest. Now, we're going to be a little conservative. We're not really going to look to hold on these plays as much, just because there's zero DTEs. Now, by all means, you can play next week cons. Remember that. You can always play next week cons on Fridays. Everyone makes the assumption that since it's Friday, you got to play a zero DTE. That's not true. You can still be conservative and play next week cons. But you can see here, this is a key low here, being respected. So this will be on my close watch list tomorrow. A break and retest over this 205 targeting all-time highs is a very valid shot. So key level that we're really just going to focus on is this 205.15. Obviously, if we gap up or get a break and retest over 212, I'm hands off that name. AMD. So we formed a channel. This is our no trade zone. We have formed a channel. Now today, coming into today, our key level here was 258. Let's go here on the intraday. The game plan was a pullback long. Beautiful. If you caught this, beautiful. You can see pre-market being respected. We rally up, we pull back, which did the damage, body tells the story. Never got a body candle closure. We curled up, shot to the upside, broke to the high day, and there's no surprise that we had sellers step in at this 264. That's literally on the dot. So let's go out here on the 15. This is really our no trade zone. It's really our no trade zone. As you can see, I do have here a long over 264.60, but I would treat this as a scalp. The reason for that being, you've been hearing me say this all week. If we're entering at all-time highs, it's a lower probability and we're late to the party. We already want to be in a long position when we get to the top of this range. But it's a zero DTE. We're going to get paid very well if we get a momentum push in our favor. So I would only be treating this as a scalp if we get a break and retest over this 264.60. This, no trade zone. You can clearly see why. 3 days in a row, we've just been stuck in between the previous day high, the previous day lows, and we're stuck in a channel on the 4 hour. So this is a low probability setup. You can't expect continuation of follow through on your plays if you enter a position in there. So if we get a break and retest over 264.60, I'm taking that as a scalp. That's a really valid shot. But the deeper the pullback, the better. We just got to be patient. This down here, may not be tomorrow. It may be Monday, it may be Wednesday of next week. But this is the A+ long that we're looking for on AMD. So just be cautious in here. No trades on it here. If you get a break and retest over 264.60, treat it as a scalp. Palantir. Really want to break this down. Don't sleep on Palantir. Do not sleep on this thing. Give me one sec. So I'm eyeing this thing. I've been eyeing this thing. I've traded this thing in the past before. It moves very well. It pays very well. The reason I'm saying don't sleep on this name is because let's break this down on the daily. You can clearly see here this 192.83, right? Resistance. We push into it. Reject. Look at this big breakout. This is a big breakout. If you watched my first educational video on taking trades off of higher time frame key levels, something that I say is you can play the break and retest on any time frame. The daily, the monthly, the weekly, the yearly, does not matter. It's all the same. We got this big momentum breakout, right? We got this big momentum breakout. What are we waiting for? The retest of this level. This is very valid. That is a valid shot targeting up here. You can clearly see, right? That's a key resistance level. 2 days in a row. We got a daily double up here. This is beautiful. So tomorrow, I'm very open to taking this trade off this 192.80, targeting the upside. Even honestly, possibly even a swing trade on this thing. This thing is very bullish. We finally got out of that this channel that you see here on the daily. One side. This channel that you see here on the daily. And since we did, this thing has been moving to the upside. Let's go here on the 15. Right? We haven't really got that pullback deep enough, but you can see every time we pull back, buyers are stepping in. Look at these wicks. Buyers are stepping in, defending this name. So that is the A+ long. We're definitely looking for that on Palantir. So do not sleep on this name. Hood, really nothing going on. Today was a solid day. Today was a solid day on this name. Really just off of this key level. If you're able to take this, now we're back in this no trade zone, so we're ignoring that. Tomorrow, the key level here is really this 140.15. Let me go on the 2 minute and just see how well this thing has got respected off its daily support level, right? Pull back, buyer step up very aggressively, track defend, and then break, retest, bear flag to the downside. That is textbook on this name. Now, the reason that this 140.15 is a key level is because this is a break of structure level. So this is really a level that you can take both ways. You just got to read the price action. All right, you can see on the 15, this thing did very well pretty much the entire day, holding that support. And to the end of the day, we turn into resistance. Reason, it's a break of structure. Let's go here on the daily. I broke this down earlier. And this is also another name that has a couple of gaps to fill. You can clearly see that in today, filled a gap. So this, if we fall under this, right, that's a lower low on the daily. Let's break this down together. This, swing high, and this would now be a swing high forming. A break and retest under that, this is a very valid trade to the downside. Or this is also A break and retest to the upside. Just really just one of these. As long as we are above 140.15, we are bullish on the same. We're bullish bias. And if we're under, right, if we're under 140.15, we're bearish bias on the same. So you can clearly see my note here is, pullback long or short. Just got to read the price action on the same. So today was a pullback long type of day on the same. You can clearly see if you took a long off this level, pretty much during the intraday, you definitely would have cashed out. But today it filled this gap. It filled this gap, just like a lot of other names, even the overall market today. So today was really a gap fill type of day. But if you're looking to trade this name, you just got to read the price action here. You can go long off this level or short off this level. Amazon, there's really nothing here. Look at the earnings on this thing. Let's go on the daily. The all-time high was 242.52. And now we're at 255. So pretty much just hands off this name. There's really nothing here. It's up to you. If you really want to play this name and like play the gap and go, you can play like a break and retest over the earnings high. But really, honestly, there's none on this name. You can even look for that. Like that's part of the gap and go, dip and rip. You can call it, but it's gonna have a very big gap to fill. So if this thing just wants to pull back the entire day, don't be surprised. But honestly, I would just be hands off that name, especially on a Friday, a day after earnings, and the IV, right? It's definitely gonna have high IV. So just be cautious on this name. But there's really nothing here, in my opinion. Now Google's an interesting one because I feel like Google's definitely in play. Look at the earnings they had. It pushed all the way up to, I'll round it to, 299.90, right? But today was a pullback long type of day. Like this pulled back more than I thought it would. This is pretty much the only gap fill that we have kind of left on this name, obviously down here. But this pulled back way more than I thought it would. Way more. So hands off on this name. But that is valid. Google, like these are names right now, like AMD or even this name Google. These are names that we just have to be patient and let price develop over time. And they're setting up big plays. They're setting up big plays. So just be patient here on Google. Today was really a good day. I was hoping we pull back a little bit deeper, but solid day. We make this new all-time high due to earnings, and then we pull all the way back down to what, 280? That's solid. That's really solid. So you're just gonna be patient. Wait for this pullback long to our key level down here. That's a very valid shot. Now Apple. This one's a little tricky. Let me go on the daily here so I can show you what I'm seeing. Now you can see here I have this as a minor daily level. The reason is, to me, it's just not that strong, but on a technical analysis standpoint, it's a valid level, right? This is resistance level, top of this range, wick to the damage, body tells the story. You can see here we barely got a body of the candle closure under this level. The following day, we barely got a candle closure above this level, and then today we wicked off it, so it's also the previous day low. So clearly it's a key level here, clearly, right? But to me, it's just not as strong. It's not as strong. So what I'm looking for is, if we get a pullback here, I would treat this as a scalp. And this is really only for tomorrow. If we get a pullback here, I would treat this as a scalp, a pullback long. The A plus long is off this 264.05, right? So these are the two key levels you want to take a trade off of, you want to watch. Treat this one as a scalp. If we get a pullback to this level, I doubt we will, but if we do, I would really be looking for a potential swing trade playing next week on this name, on Apple, right? I've already broken that down in the past. So just be cautious on all these names tomorrow. It's a Friday, it's 0 DTE, a lot of earnings has happened. You can expect IB to be elevated on this name as well coming into market open, but just be cautious. But tomorrow's main watch for me is definitely going to be NVDA. This is really going to be my main watch. A break and retest over this 205.